Awesome. Big round of applause to start the day. There we go. Fantastic. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for having me. The beautiful Port Macquarie. It's fantastic to be here. It's my first time here, actually. And it is great to have a chance to present to you guys. Just first of all, is my accent completely gone, or is it there? I have actually lived in Australia for over 20 years, so I'm not quite sure how long it actually takes to be Aussie. I do keep asking the question, how long before I get to be Aussie? How long before I get to be Aussie? And recently I did a conference. I said, how long before I get to be Aussie? And this guy shouted out of the back of the room. He said, 2 generations, mate. So no time soon for that guy. But I've been a speaker 20 years. I've done over 2,500 presentations around the world. I've spoken at EREC tons of times and just about every other real estate conference known to man. We could talk a little bit about it. I suppose as we get started, Elder's one of my oldest clients, like one of my first clients. Like literally, I did talks for Elders like way back in about, I'm going to say like 2002, like way back when. So just to get started today, I think just you have a beautiful person probably next to you. And we're actually having live audiences again, which is like the greatest thing in the whole world. So can you just look at your beautiful table and just give them a big smile and welcome them and say good morning to the person that's right there, just so you're ready to go. How good's this? Did you say pleasurable or miserable? Was it? I wasn't sure what you said there. All right, let's get into it. Today I'm going to share with you a very simple idea today. Actually, a simple idea that can absolutely transform the way you look at things. And I say it's simple. It's simple. And it changes the way we look at things in terms of real estate and life. My background is psychology and sociology. I graduated from a place called Colorado State University. I was a part of the Bill Clinton administration. That dates me fiercely. That's like crazy dates me. They sent me out to a place called Compton, California as part of that. I spent 2 years working in Compton with underprivileged kids straight out of Compton. And anyway, that was LA. I was single. I was in my early 20s. Actually, I should stop the show right here because it was LA. I was single and I was in my early 20s, and that is an awesome combination. Let me just say that. I wandered into a bar in LA, and wouldn't you know, I met a girl from Ballarat. As you do, her name was Nat from Ballarat. And I met Nat from Ballarat, and we got along pretty well. In fact, we went out for about a month, and 3 months later, I was engaged to her roommate. That's the short version of that story. But nonetheless, we can talk about impulsive behavior that doesn't work out. We could talk a little bit about that. But nonetheless, she lured me over to beautiful Australia, and I have to say I pinch myself at what I get to do, because I get a chance to travel all over the world and talk about my favorite subject, which is people. Who here finds people interesting, just out of curiosity? Who is sick and tired of human beings? Totally. And all right, it's good. All right, very good. Welcome, guys. Make yourself at home. We're just doing a little thing on time management, so it's fine. All right, let's get into it. I was at a Christmas party. This guy walked up to me. I think he'd had a couple drinks. He walked up to me, looked at me, and he said this: someone just told me you were a motivational speaker. Why don't you say something right now to motivate me? And I remember when he said that, I was like, man, it doesn't work like that. He's like, what do? Do you stand in front of people with your American accent and just tell people to be positive? Is that what it's all about? Just to be happy, to be positive, and to be positive? And the guy was poking the bear, and I get that. But he was actually asking the same thing you're asking right now. Is there something new? Right? Is there anything new? Do they drag us here to the ridges across the street, right, at 8:30 in the morning to hear some American tell us to be positive? Well, no, I didn't. And here's idea number 1, by the way. Ready? Positive thinking doesn't work. There's your first thing you can write down if you want. Positive thinking doesn't work. And by the way, I know we don't always want to write stuff down. Actually, sometimes you do write stuff down. Sometimes you don't. But if you want to, you can. I know we all go to conferences like the Elders Conference or the EREC Conference. And then agents write stuff down. And then, when you know, they come back to the office. When the pages get filed away in the saddest, loneliest place in every office, the land of the unused, unread real estate training notes. We try so hard, don't we? We go to EREC and it's like, we're going to get fired up. Like agents are like, we're going to get pumped up. Like we're going to the Gold Coast, we're going to get jacked up. I know we have the best of intentions, so I'm going to keep this nice and simple. Here's the thing. I'm going to share with you something new. Number 1, positive thinking doesn't work. It never has. There might be people right now in this room that are actually feeling like you're at ground zero for whatever reason, right? You might be going through a tough time personally, professionally, otherwise. And to be at ground zero, to get from 0 to 2, it is not positive thinking that's going to get you there. I teach this word. Ready? Useful. Boom. Useful thinking. That's different. To get from 0 to 2 in your life, it's not about positive thinking or negative thinking. That's emotional thinking. That goes up and down. But useful thinking is practical thinking. Useful, to get from 2 to 5, it's not useful, it's not positive, it's going to be what useful actions can you take in your life to get from 2 to 5, or to get from 5 to 8. What's the most useful belief for you to have about your life? Actually, let's talk about useful belief. I wrote a little book called Useful Belief. Little book. By the way, other speakers make fun. It's a little book. They call them pamphlets, but I'm just, look, I'm happy. They're best-selling pamphlets. But nonetheless, I wrote the book Useful Belief. Wiley Publishing tell me now it's the highest-selling business book in Australian history. I can't quite believe that. But you know what's amazing? People are sick of being told to be positive. Stop saying positive. It's useful. Let's make this come alive. Who here's a parent? Just out of curiosity. All right, here we go. Who's ever been a part of this conversation? I can't believe kids today. I cannot believe these stupid kids with these iPhones, computer. Look, when I was a kid, we were real kids. We were outside. We had a bike and a bat and a ball. We were real. Who's ever been a part of this conversation? Just out of curiosity. All right. Well, here we go. Let's try useful belief. Let's see. Let's just try this useful belief idea out. This is the best time in the history of the world to be a parent. True or untrue? What do you think? Go ahead and vote with your face. What do you think? Is it true or untrue? Look, there's a second thing. I said positive thinking doesn't work. Here, you ready for your next one? Is it true? I don't know. Who cares? Who cares if it's true? True? You were taught a lot of things in your life that were supposedly true. Now that you have an adult brain, right, they actually look pretty silly looking back on them now. True, right? Buyers are liars. That's true. No, it's not. Hey, you know what? You were taught a lot of things in your life supposedly true. Here we go. Ready? Truth doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Is it true? I don't know. But I know this. When I believe it's the best time in the history of the world to be a parent, an amazing thing happens. I'm a better dad. I'm actually dialed into the year 2021. I'm not focused on the year 1988 and the Def Leppard concert I went to. I'm actually dialed into what's going on right now. This is the best time in the history of the world to be a parent. Is it true? I don't know. It makes me a better parent. Right? Best time in the history of the world to be a kid. Is that true? I don't know. But I know this, when I believe that, actually I'm a little more understanding to their situation. Right? This is the best time in the history of the world to be alive. Whoa, hey, whoa, Chris, hang on. This is not the best time in the history of the world to be alive. I don't know if you noticed something. We got things like global pandemics going on here at the moment. We got all sorts of terrible stuff going on, right? Have you met my boss? My boss, this is a tough time, man. This is a tough time. And look, here's the thing. We have a brain, and the most important part of your brain is called the reticular activating system. You don't have to remember that because it's early. Here's what you have to remember. Your brain has a filter. It's a little filter in your brain. It shows you what you see. Did anyone drive to work this morning? On the way in? What is your name, sir?
Rob.
Rob, how far did you drive?
7K.
7K. It's not too far for Rob today. Pretty easy drive. Rob, just on the way in, how many times would you have seen a red Toyota on the way in? You'd go, oh my God. Doesn't remember any red Toyotas. That's interesting. And that's because Rob's not looking for any red Toyotas. He's not looking to buy one. Think about it. Or anything. Rob, right now, if you and I decided to buy a red Toyota together, first of all, that'd be weird, wouldn't it? Go 50-50. Second of all, here's the thing. If we decided to buy a red Toyota right now, we get out on the road, and what would we start to say? Boom, that's the filter in your brain. This is the best time in the history of the world to be alive. Is it true? I don't know. Doesn't matter, but I know this. When I walk outside and it's the best time in the history of the world to be alive, my brain goes and finds beautiful things. I walk outside and what do I see? I see a tree and a flower and a puppy and a baby. And you will find beautiful things in the world. This is the best time in the history of the world to have a global pandemic. People are like, what? What are you talking about, Chris? It's a terrible time to have a global pandemic. I'm like, what are you talking about? Can you imagine if we had a global pandemic 20 years ago? I mean, no Netflix? What are you talking about? No Zoom? Right? Literally no phones. What are we? Oh, your phones. If we had a global pandemic 20 years ago, you would have been in lockdown, literally with your block Nokia, 23 hours a day playing Snake That's what you'd have been doing. That would have been a terrible time to have a global pandemic. Today we got vaccines coming out. We got people working hard. We got hospitals. We got ventilators. This is the best time in the history of the world to be in real estate. People are like, no, it's not, Chris. No, it's not. I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course it is, right? Best time. You know, it's interesting, having worked with hundreds of thousands of real estate agents, there's one thing that separates out the best real estate salespeople from average. One thing. And most people are average. Well, that's actually why they call it average. But nonetheless, there's one thing that separates out the best of the best from the average. The best real estate agents in the world, they see opportunities that other people just don't see. Average people see tough times. Their brain shuts down. They're blocked. The best agents in the world find a way to make money in any market with a useful belief. This is the best time in the history of the world to be in real estate. Opportunities everywhere. But not everyone feels this way. Sometimes people are like, no, it's not, Chris. These are tough times. These are tough times. Now, there might be some of you in the room who are like, Chris, I've been cynical, jaded, angry, and twisted my entire life. And that is why my face looks like this, right? And there might be some of you in the room going, I'm not about to change right now. And I'm like, oh, I want to support you too. Let's talk about your brain filter just for a second. You want to believe in tough times. I recommend a lot of news. I mean, I would start with the Today Show, straight up. I was on the Today Show a few weeks ago. Yeah, I'd start with the Today Show. I would then go watch the noon news. I think that'd be good. The 4 o'clock news, I would dial into Today Tonight. Definitely watch Current Affair. They might be on the same time, so you might have to record one. You can watch them back to back. That will give you such amazing insights as how your air conditioner is killing you. Incredible stuff. Paranoia. And then let's learn about relationships, how to form healthy relationships. I recommend maths. I think that's probably a good place to start. But don't just watch the people, read, get on your phone and read about them. And really learn. And in no time, you will, in fact, believe that these are some tough times. You'll see tough times everywhere, right? It's amazing. Sometimes people say, Chris, this isn't the best time in the history of the world. 2017, that was the best time. That was the best time, 2017. Right before all this mess. Sometimes people are like, 2007, Chris, that was best times. Before global financial crisis. Sometimes property managers are like, 98, that was the best time. I could smoke at my goddamn desk. But here's the thing, it's not 98, it's not 2007, it's not 2017. You know what, it's 2021, and I do not mean to be the bearer of bad news, but I think we should all get on the same page about something right now. Just so we all know. Just so we all know. The survival rate on this planet is exactly 0%. None of us are getting out of here alive. Now, I say that to inspire you that in 100 years' time, you're going to be absolutely nothing more than a paragraph on Ancestry.com. All right? That's it. Nothing else. And I say that to inspire you. This is your time. This is it. I don't know what we're waiting for. Right? It's not some other time. It's not some time in the future. This is what we got. So, look, we can't change it. So we might as well have a useful belief about it. Ooh, hang on, that was really, we better say that again. If you can't change something, well, we might as well have a useful belief about it. Or change it, by the way. I mean, Rob could change it. Rob, it's nice to meet you, by the way. Now, I don't know too much about Rob. He's got a ring on his, is that a ring on his? Wait, look at that. Well, I didn't know that. But I don't know a lot about Robness, but I know this. I thought he was doing one of two things. He was either married or just trying to keep the women at bay. One of the two things today. But Rob's got a reality. We all have a reality. And Rob could change right now. Rob could go, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. What's your job here, Rob? He manages IT. He could be going, I am sick of managing. I'm sick of IT. I'm out. He could go get himself a Wicked van right now. And here's the thing. Rob could move himself straight up to Byron, live in the back of a van, smoke dope in the lack of a van. Vanlife.com.au. You going? Are you going to stick around? Mate, can you take me with you if you go then, please? Rob's such a good sport. I think we should give him a copy of Simple Shift. How useful thinking changes everything. Let's hand rest. Rob's a good, thanks, buddy. We can all change it. Right now, we could change it. Any one of you could change it, right? You could go decide to do something else. I mean, you have a reality. Women in this room have a reality. I mean, many of you wake up every day next to the same person, day in, day out, day in, day out. And you think to yourself sometimes, I'm going to look over there in a minute. And it's not going to be him. It's going to be Bradley Cooper. Hang on, I'm going to count this down right now. 3, 2, 1. Nope, it's still him. Now, here's the thing. You can change it if you want to. Change it. But here's the thing. If you're not going to change it, can't change it, or won't change it, most importantly, won't change it, if you're not going to change it, you might as well have a useful belief about it. We all have a reality. I mean, we all have a reality. I have a reality. I mean, before all this COVID stuff, I mean, in 2019, my reality is travel, right? So in 2019, I think I actually stayed in, it was like 112 hotel rooms, and I rode on 157 airplanes in 2019. And I would tell that to people. I'd be like, rode on 157 airplanes, people. And people love to come up and just sort of pick at your life and say people things. Like, people just love to say people things. So people used to come up to me, they're like, Chris, man, I heard what you said about all that travel. That's a lot of travel. If I were you, I'd hate all that travel. Man, you must hate all those airplanes. Man, if I were you, I'd hate all those hotels. Man, you must be alone all the time in those hotels. You must be alone all the time in those hotels. Man, Chris, you must be alone all the time. And people used to love to say that to me, just say people things. And you know what? I live in Melbourne, right? I'm the single dad of 3 teenage boys, right? Here's the thing. I live in Melbourne. It's not necessarily a choice, right? It's not necessarily a choice. It's a reality for me right now. So guess what? I know people up here, once you get north, people always go, I don't know how you live in Melbourne. How do you live in Melbourne with all that weather? I don't know how you live in Melbourne with that weather. Right? I have a reality. I could change it. I'm not going to change it. So I'm not going to change it. Guess what? I'm going to have a useful belief about it. What's my useful belief about Melbourne weather? I love Melbourne weather. I love it. I love that it is 4 seasons and 1 quarter of footy. I love that. I love the fact that it is 43, 44, 42, 16. I love that. You know what? I love it. You can have your perfect little New South Wales weather. I'll take my varieties. Thank you very much. You know what? I had a reality. The travel people come up to me and say, I could have just done Melbourne gigs. Change it. Except that would affect my income, and that would have affected my lifestyle. So you know what? I'm not going to change it. I love doing this. So if I'm going to travel, and this is what I want to do, and I'm not going to change it, I might as well have a useful belief about it. What's my useful belief about airplanes? I love airplanes. I love them. I love hotels. I love hotel sheets, and I am alone all the time. Last night, walking through the streets. By the way, everything closed by 8 o'clock, right? I decided I was hungry at 8:15. You know what? Even room service was closed at 8 o'clock. I walked up and down the street. The Thai place, the fish and chips place, everywhere was closed. It was closed. Walking the streets of Port Macquarie. Alone, right? Now, here's the thing. Sometimes I walk the streets of the Gold Coast alone. Sometimes it's San Antonio, Texas, alone. Do you know what I love? Aloneness. That's what I love. By the way, people say to me all the time, like, Chris, I'm lonely. I'm just dialed into my lonely. I'm just so lonely right now. I'm like, don't get dialed into lonely. Don't get dialed into lonely. This is the best time in the history of the world to be alone. Get dialed into some aloneness, right? And people are like, no, it's not. It's not. I'm like, yes, it is. Can you imagine being alone in the year 1778? Can you imagine that in the year 1778 being alone? I mean, you would have lived in some northern European shack somewhere, right? Like the wind had been whipping through. You'd been freezing your ass off in the middle of the night. Right? Wind whipping through. What would you be doing? Knitting some crappy sweater via candlelight. That would have sucked. Would have been a sucky time in the history of the world to be alone. Today, you got 33 things you can do by yourself to make yourself happy at 3 a.m. Alone. This is it. It's the best time in the history of the world to be alone. Right? I mean, it's amazing. This is the best time in the history of the world to insert situation. I mean, I was just doing a gig in Double Bay. Double Bay, like, seriously, one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. Very snobby, but beautiful. And you know what? There, Double Bay, this guy came up to me. He's like, Chris, it's a very difficult time to sell real estate in Double Bay. Very difficult time to sell real estate in Double Bay. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's a difficult time to sell real estate in Kabul. Not double bang. Kabul, yes. It's the best time in the history of the world to sell real estate in Double Bay. I had this guy come up to me, he goes, Chris, actually a difficult time for me. I'm 55 years old. My wife left me and I'm broke. I'm 55 and I'm broke. 55 and broke. I said, fantastic. This is the best time in the history of the world to be 55 and broke. He's like, what are you talking about? Oh, I said, imagine being 55 and broke in 1929. Great Depression going on. Like, you'd be able to live like 4 more years. That's it. Boom. And the only job you'd be able to get is shoveling coal. That would have been the worst time in the history of the world to be 55 and broke, right? Today you can live for 40 more years, right? And go get another job. And so pull your pants up and make something happen with your life. It's the best time in the history of the world to be 55 and broke. Or insert situation. I mean, you told me this is a good-looking group. You weren't kidding. I mean, my God. Wow. Wow. I mean, I can prove this scientifically. Haley, I can prove this sign. I could take a photograph of you guys right now, and I could show you that photo in 10 years' time. And when I show you that photo in 10 years' time, you're going to look at it and go, "Aw, it looked good." Look how young I am there. So being that you're going to feel that way about your face today, eventually you might as well go with that as a useful belief. You look good today. Boom. It's the best time in the history of the world to be you. You know what? I mean, I tell you, whatever your situation is, life begins at insert age. If you are 70 years old today, congratulations. Life begins at 70. By the way, you move differently when you're 70. You believe that. Life begins at 44. That's a useful belief if you're 44. Life begins at 22, and if you're 22, you're like, of course it does, have a look at me. But either way, as you think about it, you know what, I was in Las Vegas, and I was doing a conference in Las Vegas called the T20 Summit, the top 20 real estate agents in the United States of America and me. And they actually gave me 3 hours to talk to the top 20 real estate agents, 3 hours at the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas. You guys gave me 55 minutes, but that's okay. Nonetheless, there I was. In Las Vegas, 10 men, 10 women, the top 20 realtors in the United States. And let me say this, there were a few egos in that room, right? And there they were, a few egos in that room. Well, you know, this older gentleman walks up to me, and he says to me, Chris Elder's here. He said, I read your book. He goes, I read your book. He said, Chris, come out in the lobby with me. I want to introduce myself to you. Anyway, I went out in the lobby. He said, Chris Elder, my name is Robert Slack. Now, by the way, I meet a lot of people. I've never met a person whose last name was less definitive of their personality than Mr. Robert Slack. He said, well, Chris Elder, my name is Robert Slack, and I'm 74 years old. 74 years old, and I want you to guess, son. I want you to guess how old I was when I started my real estate business. Or go on, son, I want you to guess. Come on now. I want you to guess. Go on now, Chris Elder, I want you to guess. I said, 40, Robert. I think you were 40 years old when you started your real estate business. He said, I was not, Chris Elder. He said, I was, in fact, 70 years old. 70 years old, I've never been in real estate before in my life. He said, in 4 years, I have 110 people working underneath me. I'm sitting in a room with the top 20 realtors in these United States or these Americas. And here's the thing you need to understand about me, Mr. Chris Elder. He said, I sell Florida. He took the whole damn state. I sell Florida, he said. I said, Robert, can you explain something to me? How is it possible at 70 years old? While most people are just simply trying to find themselves a rocking chair somewhere on a veranda porch with a glass of scotch so they can prepare to die. Can you explain to me right now, how is it possible that at 70 years old you decide to start a brand new enterprise? He said, I'll answer that for you, Chris Elder. He said, in fact, right over here at this conference, he said, look, my stand is just over there. Do you see the Robert Slack stand just over there? It's got my name on it, Robert Slack. He said, do you see the woman that is at my stand over there? Why, that is my wife. 38 years I've been married to that beautiful woman. He said, what the hell was I going to do? Spend all day talking to her? Life begins at 70 years old. That is a useful belief, by the way, if you are 70 years old. Life begins at 44. You know what? Actually, that beautiful person you introduced yourself to this morning, I'd like you right now, and we got a group of 3. We got a nice group of 2 and a group of 2, right? We got a group of 3 and a group of 4, right? We got a group of 3 and a group of 3. You're probably on your own. But look here. Just take 30 seconds and I want you to ask your partner just quickly, what do they think of this idea of useful belief, and is it better than trying to be positive? Here we go, 1 minute with your partner, as quick as we can. Here we go. How we going, all right? Hey, man.
Life starts now. I'm here.
Boom, you're here. Life begins today. That's awesome. Nah, very good. All right, just very simple idea. And actually, I say simple idea. The book Gabe Rob's called The Simple Shift, How Useful Thinking Changes Everything. And it is a simple shift. I think so often in, well, actually, you know what? So often just generally, I think we overcomplicate success. We overcomplicate changing for success. And we overcomplicate this. It is a simple shift. Actually, on the Today Show that I was on a short time ago, the woman said to me, Chris, how do you go about exactly transforming your brain? I'm like, well, you don't have to transform your brain, right? You just have to wake up. And for most people, it's just literally waking up. And I say that it's just about being conscious with a useful belief about your life. Now, I say it's a simple shift. You know what? It's like, actually, do you know who's annoying me at the moment? Not in this room, but just globally. I'll tell you who's annoying me at the moment. American motivational speakers. I can't stand these people. And I'll tell you why, because they so often, what they do is they do come over here and they're like, you got to transform yourself. And they make it a big deal, right? Like you're not okay now. I mean, have a look at you guys. You guys are amazing, right? You got to transform, right? Come to my 4-day seminar, spend $10,000 and you will be transformed. And I was like, whatever, Tony. But like, but I don't think you have to be transformed. I actually think it's a simple shift. It's just waking up. Now, I did see a couple people in Port McCrory last night when I was walking around alone. Now, they do have some big projects ahead of them. But for you guys, I can tell you, I think it's not about transformation. It's about a simple shift. It's about waking up, even as we wake up with our mind and our body. And you know what? I talk about useful belief with our mind. And then I talk about having a mind-body shift. I know there's a couple of people that had a meeting, is that right? So that better be a damn important meeting, I'll tell you what. You know what, here's the thing. Sometimes it's amazing. It's amazing. So we talk about useful belief. Once we get our mind right, what happens with our body? Now, again, what the mind harbors, the body manifests. In other words, how you move affects how you think. Now, I see this in real estate all the time, right? I'm in real estate agents. I see them. I go to real estate auctions, train real estate companies. I go to real estate auctions. And then Saturday in Melbourne, there's this real estate guy. He's out there. For the first call, second call, for the third and final call, you done. Silent finish, just like my career. And you can just see the mind and body not connected. Boom, right? Not into it. Not doing that. It's so different. I mean, when you connect your mind and your body and how you impact human beings, how you impact people. At 750, afraid I've been enough, and I got it now. On the right-hand side, at 760,000. In the middle, against you on the right, 770, you will. At 770,000, 3, primarily in the bidding now. Are you done? All done. Surely not. At 770,000 on the right-hand side. Like, there's a difference between an auctioneer who's connected and there's an auctioneer who's not connected. It's like, it's no different with, in Melbourne, they got the pencilers, right? And there's a penciler's got his pencil. He's like leaned up against the fence on auction day. Man, it's like 40 degrees. You can just see he is just so hungover. He's like leaned up against the fence. He's like got that bourbon mustache thing going, like trying to get rid of that. It's like open for inspection. Sales property managers. Sales property managers. There we are, right? We open for inspections, right? And the person walks up. We're like, just get your name and number if that's okay. Oh, I have to get your name and number. Oh, you can't come in unless I get your name. Well, you can't. Which way are you going? You can't. Open for inspections. That's a dinner party. Like, welcome. Boom. This is like a dinner. Are you kidding me? It's the best time in the history of the world to come to an elders open for inspection. It is amazing. And talking about the difference between the mind and the body. And and there might be somebody in this room who's like sitting here right now going, oh man, I really related to that guy at the fence, Chris. I had a tough night last night myself. Boy, in fact, I haven't even heard one thing you've said so far today. I had a tough night last night, and I haven't gotten my one thing yet. And by the way, that's always the important thing when you come to a session, to get your one thing. That's what everybody says to you, isn't it? Come along and get your one thing. As long as you get one thing, it'll be well worth your time. Even if you get one thing, it'll be worth your time. Now, it's possible someone here yet has not gotten their one thing, right? That's it. There they are. And if you haven't, I'm going to give it to you right now. Because I'll tell you what, if you apply this one thing in terms of your mind and your body and how it connects, you apply this useful belief right here, it'll change your life forever. Ready? Here we go. Energy is a decision. Energy is a choice. And you can have as much energy as you want. Now, when I say that, most people do not subscribe to this. Most people are tired. If you doubt this, just ask them. They'll tell you. You already had this conversation today. You walk up to people and go, how you going, man? You're like, yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good. Guess we got that thing at 8:30, yeah? Oh, geez, I'm tired, man. I'm just tired out. A little bit tired today. Why are you so tired, man? It's like, I don't know. I got 10 hours of sleep. Just tired. You walk up to young people, 25 years old. You're like, how you going, man? They're like, yeah, good. I'm just tired, man. Just tired out. Why are you so tired? I don't know. I'm 25. I got the rest of my life ahead of me. I'm just exhausted. It is amazing how tired people are. Energy's a choice. You can have as much energy as you want. Now, when I say this, I'm proud of a couple things. 20 years, I've been a speaker. 2,500 presentations around the world, right? I've never had a sick day, not once. Never missed a day. Never missed a presentation, not one time in 20 years. I'm proud of that. But here's what I'm more proud of. In 20 years of doing this, I have never, ever, ever showed up without an abundance of energy. That's a cool word, by the way. Abundance. You can just apply that word. Abundance. It's a good word. Abundance. I like that word. Well, it's actually a good word. It's got the word dance in it. That's cool. I know what you're thinking. It's got bun dance in it. Abundant. You can have as much energy as you want. I'm always laughing because people are like, Chris, I'm sorry, I'm a little tired today. I'm actually jet lagged. I'm like, you're jet lagged? Oh, I'm a little jet lagged. I'm like, what happened? Well, I had to fly from Brisbane to Port Macquarie, so I'm a little jet lagged. That was a little jet lagged this morning. And I'm like, what? Jet lagged? What is that? Like, I fly from Melbourne to LA to Dallas to Orlando, do a gig, turn around and go Orlando, Dallas, LA, and do a gig. Right? Jet lag. I don't believe in jet lag. That's not even a real thing, is it? I mean, jet lag. You can have as much energy as you want. Boom, dial in. Now, this is the moment people say to me sometimes, Chris, hang on a second. How do I get more energy? And the answer actually is very simple. Get connected to your life. When you're connected to your life, you have energy. When you're disconnected from your life, you're tired. Now, next question that comes up. Chris, how do I get connected to my life? Well, answer, simple. With the things you can't change or the things you won't change, you might as well have a useful belief about it. Or change it, by the way. Let's get in the van. Boom, let's do it. Right? Let's get out of here. Or let's do something else. Change it. But if you're not going to change it, you might as well have a useful belief about it. And once you get your useful belief right with power, and once you get a useful belief with power, all of a sudden now you get connected to your life. Here's one for you, by the way. Every single thing happened in your life for a reason. And not for everybody today, but you know what? Every single thing in your life happened for a reason. And wouldn't you know it? Every single thing happened for a reason that led you into this room today. And wouldn't you know, you didn't think this, but this room today was the exact room you're supposed to be in to draw a standing line. The exact room you're supposed to be in to launch the rest of your life. Is that true? I have no idea. I don't really believe in truth. But look, but I know this. It's useful. I know it's useful. Right? And by the way, you're like, I don't believe everything happens for a reason, Chris Helder. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll give one for you as well. You finished school, right? Then you got that job. Then you met that person. You got the tattoo. That was probably a mistake. Then that led to this job. You decided to get in real estate. You went to work for Elders, and then you got invited to this breakfast. And here we are now at 8:30 in the morning. And you know what? Welcome, because now, you know what? Now you got into this room. You had no idea today, but now that you're in this room, this is the exact room to launch the rest of your life. This is the best time in the history of the world to be you. You know, we get taught so much crap, right? Such a victim society we live in sometimes with people telling us we're no good, like on these things. Like all the time, even right now. I mean, on these things, telling us we're not good enough. We're looking for judge. Give me a little dopamine hit. Show me I'm loved. I need to be loved, right? Give me a filter. I need to look like Blake Lively. Right? We don't need to look like Blake Lively. You need to look like you. Right? It's the best time in the history of the world to be you. Right? Best time in the history. You don't have to be Ryan Gosling. Right? Except this guy. Right? Look, the thing is, this is the best time in the history of the world to be you. Right? And we get taught all the time by these things. We're not good enough. We're not good enough. You know, I got a word for you for real estate right now. That word is authenticity. The word is authenticity. Who here has ever met a real estate agent with an ego? Have you ever? I mean, it's so great. All these years of real estate agents and training real estate agents. And I mean, all these years, they're like, Chris, have a look at my new promo video. You need to look at my new promo video. I look at it and like it's them doing the auction, you know. They're pulling up in the Porsche, right? They're doing the, that's 750, right? The people going, sold, 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 sold. And the next thing you know, like Tina Turner's in the background going, you're simply the best, right? Too close? You know what though? I got no doubt we can do that with authenticity. And it is about real today. It is about real. People want to know. You know what? I mean, people ultimately want to know you care, right? They want to know you care, and they want to know you care. And once they know you care, then they do care how much you know. And we think about authenticity and knowledge and being able to deliver good service to people and to do it with useful belief. And people are interesting to deal with. So who here has ever had to deal with people and go into a meeting where you're like, I can't believe I have to go to that meeting, right? That meeting's going to be a waste of time. Have you ever done that? And all of a sudden you're like, right? And you sit in the meeting. First of all, you get your waste of time body language going, right? And the next thing you know, then you send your brain filter. Remember that? Send your brain filter on a fact-finding mission to go find it. You're like waiting, searching. Oh, there it is. Waste of time. You found it because you sent your brain on a fact-finding mission to go find waste of time. No different. You're like, I can't believe I got to meet this landlord. Right? And there we are. Right? And all of a sudden we have this meeting. We got to make this phone call. Right? And we start thinking about opening ourselves up, you know, with our posture and our mind about the day and the meetings that we have. This is an opportunity for us. And, you know, people ask me how I came up with the idea of useful belief. I came up with the idea of useful belief on an airplane. Surprise, surprise. This one, though, however, went from San Francisco to Sydney, and I was on that airplane because I was coming back from my father's funeral. And by the way, sometimes bad things happen in our lives. And sometimes really bad things happen to really good people. And when you know, I was coming back from San Francisco and I was on this airplane. And when I got back to Australia, I had 18 presentations to deliver in the next 4 weeks. And I want to give you the tip. I didn't feel like it. I felt angry and I felt super sad. And I was writing in my journal, and I'm a journal writer, and I sort of wrote out 2 sentences, and sometimes that 2 sentences take up the whole page, and that was the case here, where I just went, this is not useful, I need to get my head right. I'm like, this is not useful, I need a different belief. And I saw those 2 words on the page, and I literally wrote them down. I was like, useful belief. And I liked the way they looked. And actually, when I landed in Sydney and I Googled them, realized nobody else had ever written them down. I liked the way they looked even more. But let me say this. I came up with a useful belief that day. A useful belief that day. And that useful belief is those audiences, those 18 audiences, in my time of grief, were going to give me the greatest gift they could possibly give me. They were going to give me their time. And it's become a philosophy of mine. And that didn't just get me through those 18 presentations. It catapulted me through. And it's now a philosophy of mine that if somebody gives you their time, it's your job to give them everything we got. That's it. Boom. And that's it. I mean, you might not like what I have to say today. There might be people in this room going, I am not going to listen to him. He is a short American man. And I've had too many bad experiences with short American men. I'm not going down that path again. Not again. No way. That's it. 4 times bitten, 5 times shy. Not doing that again. You know what? But here's the thing. The reality for everybody in this room, I mean, I can't control that. But the reality for everyone in this room is I can control the same thing you control every day. Your output. Boom. how you show up in your life every day. Get connected with a useful belief. This is the best time in the history of the world to be you. Best time in the history of the world to be you, to be open. And I know there's a lot going on for us today. There's people in this room right now who are thinking to themselves, I'm actually enjoying this talk a lot more than I thought I would. But at the same time, I had a beautiful smashed avocado for breakfast this morning, and I posted it on Instagram. And while I'm really curious what he's going to say next, I'm also a little bit interested in how many likes I have on my smashed avocado. I know we got a lot going on right now. There's people want to check their phone, and there's their friend on the phone. She's got a 3-year holiday from the time she went over to Greece, and you're flicking through, and you're like, whatever, you skinny little bitch. Right? I know. We got a lot going on. We got a lot going on. But here's the thing, wouldn't it be amazing how we show up every day? You didn't realize this, but today you gave me the greatest gift you possibly could have given me. You gave me your time. And when somebody gives you their time, it's our job to give them everything we got. And how do we do that? We do that with our mind and our body. Posture, boom, eye contact. Look at people. I mean, who believes eyes are the windows to the soul, by the way? Who believes that? Oh, it's incredible. I'm right. Eyes, ooh, it's incredible. I mean, like, eyes, like. I feel lost in your eyes. It's amazing. What is your name?
Andrew.
Andrew, let's give Andrew a book. Round of applause for Andrew. Hold on, mate. Just. Eye contact's amazing. I mean, look, you can be walking down the main drag. You can be walking down Hay Street in Port Macquarie, can't you? You can be walking down. You can tell from 20 meters away. You can tell. Someone's got crazy eyes. Right there you are walking along. You're like, ooh, crazy eyes. Right? By the same token, you can be driving your car. You're driving your car. All of a sudden you look up, you catch somebody's eyes like through your window and their window, and you look away. And you check back, you drive off, you're like, it was a quick relationship, but a good one. I mean, the power of eyes, our ability to be present. Who has small children, by the way? Who has small children? I mean, young kids, incredible. I mean, they walk up to you, they go, Mom, Dad, have a look at the picture I drew. Have a look at the picture I drew. And they get so excited. How often do we forget to look? And we're like, oh, sweetie, Mama's just cooking dinner. I'll be with you in a second. And we didn't stop. We didn't stop and look. Right? We talk about this like, again, taking a look, get down, and, don't, we get down and look at the picture and go, what is that? Wow, what is that? We look on, is that a monkey? That's me, isn't it? I love that. It's just so great, right? We look at the picture and look at the child. It's like getting to the level, right? I mean, being present, right? Don't discipline a small child from here. Well, boom, right? Get down to their level. I mean, we do this in real estate, don't we? How quickly can we match intensity? I mean, you can take a look at the different people in this room, right? Some of you are pretty chill. Rob's taking it pretty easy today. He's pretty cool, right? We got a little more intensity, a little bit more intense. Have you noticed some people walk around, they got a little bit more of eyeball intensity. Have you noticed this? They walk around, they're like, how'd you go in that meeting? How'd you go in the meeting? They're on the phone, they're texting, how'd you go with that listing? And they're shooting lasers out their eyes, right? Now, if I meet a laser eye individual, I'm probably going to raise my laser eyes a little bit too. By the way, not too much. One little tidbit, don't ever over laser eye the laser eye guy. You want to bring it up too, but not over the top up. But I'm going to bring a little bit of intensity to it. Some people a little shy, a little quieter and shyer. Actually, is it okay if I give them homework? Can I give them homework? Let's take a look at body language for a second and just think about this. Your homework. I think let's just we'll give them till Saturday to do. Is that all right? Till Saturday, you got to do this. Here we go. Everyone's homework. Ready? Very easy. Go to a pub. All right? That's your homework. All right? That's all you got to do. Go to a pub. And when you go to the pub, I want you to watch men. All right? You got to watch blokes at the pub. That's your homework. That's it. And when you watch blokes at the pub, just watch, again, how they match each other. Just like we match the child. Right? Just how we're going to match laser eye guy. Just notice, I mean, guys, what do? They get their beer in their hand, their pot in their hand, their schooner in their hand, their midi in their hand, their pint in their hand. Only in Australia do we have 9 names for beer. Nonetheless, there it is. And guys get their beer in their hand, and what do? Right there, once they got their beer in their hand, if they're all connected, when they're connected, right, they got their beer in their hand, then what do? They put their hand in their pocket. And once they got their hand in their pocket, and their beer in their hand, what do? Once they're connected, they start rocking. And there they are. And there they are, rocking back and forth, rocking, talking. Right, here's what I want you to notice. Sometimes there's one guy. You'll see him. He'll be there. One. He's got flat feet. He's got two hands on his beer glass. That's his giveaway. He's got flat feet. His knees are locked. He's not connected. He's not in the group. He's not in the group. Right? He's standing in the group, but he's got two hands. He's got a little tension in his eyebrows. He's got tension in his shoulder, tension in his knees. His knees are locked. Feet are flat. Two hands on the glass. And you can tell right now, that guy's in the group. But he's not in the group. Women are no different, by the way. Right? It's body language. When we connect with each other, we're doing the same thing. Women are no different. Right? There they all are. Glass of champagne in hand. It is right leg over left, and there they all are. Talking, chatting, talking. Everybody's all connected, all doing the same thing. But very often there's one woman, isn't there? And she's there. She's got a glass of champagne resting here. She's got a little bit of tension in her shoulder, right? Pursed lips. She's got tension in her eyebrow. Unless, of course, she's from the right part of Port Macquarie. She can't move her eyebrow. And there she is. She's not connected with everyone else, because when we're connected, we do the same thing. Actually, when you go to the pub, watch young people in love. It's amazing. You watch young people in love, it's incredible. Their bodies go together, apart, together. They sit in a restaurant, they sit across from each other, and here they go. They sit across, and they're sitting across from each other, and you can see he usually starts it off. He gives it this little move right here. Now, this little move right here, that's called a chin kick. Now I teach body language, and that little chin kick, lean forward move right there, that little chin kick, that's a mating call. And you'll see that. She'll follow, by the way, with her own mating call. Her mating call is usually a shimmy move. And you will see that shimmy move is often accompanied by a little bit of a tuck. It's a shimmy tuck. Whoop-boom! They come together. Then he leans back, he gives it a bit of, how you doing, right? That's it. And they go apart, together, apart. Well, they're watching tennis. By the way, who here's been in a relationship longer than 2 years? Look at that. It's amazing when you watch people in a relationship longer than 2 years. He leans forward. She doesn't move. It's a very highly technical reason for that. At an unconscious level, they're no longer trying to get it on anymore. That's it. But here's the thing. They're actually doing the same thing we do all the time. All the time in real estate. Taking each other for granted. Taking each other for granted. Not being fun. When somebody gives you their time, it's our job to give them everything we got. Our ability to be present. Posture, eye contact, to look at people, be present with people. And then a big one, which you're a master at. Ready? Here we go. Smile at other human beings. Now, when I say this is the point where some people are like, Chris, you had me until you told me to smile. I was really enjoying today until you just said smile. What is this, some 1980s motivational seminar where you're telling me to smile? Is that what you're telling me, just a smile? Well, no, it's not. But I wish it was a 1980s seminar. Because if it was, I could be a 1980s motivational speaker. And then I could say things like this. When you smile at the customer will feel that smile. But don't you forget about the phone line, because you can send your smile straight down the phone line. And your customer will feel that smile on the other side, right? So no, it's not a 1980s motivational seminar. But I wish it was. I wish it was, but I still have to tell you, smile. And I'll tell you why, because every communication study says the same thing. When you smile at another human being, it makes them feel good about who? About themselves. That's crazy. If you said to me right now, Chris, I got a brand new product which will instantaneously make every one of our customers, landlords, vendors, buyers, and tenants feel good about themselves, I'll personally give you millions of dollars for that. We can go travel around the world and sell it. Boom, easy. But you've already got it. Smile. I look around the room. There are smilers in this room. Smiler. That's beautiful. There's smilers. There's smilers. Beautiful smilers everywhere. Smilers. There's a couple of you like, I tried that once, Chris. It didn't really work out for me. Either way, you know what? Try it again. I'll tell you what'll make you smile more. I'll tell you what'll give you more energy. I'll tell you what'll make people like you more. Right? Is this right here. Ready? What drives everything that we're talking about in terms of our mind and our body is a little bit of gratitude. and gratitude for the day. This is the best time in the history of the world to be alive. This is the best time in the history of the world to be you. And I know we get so many messages, but we think about gratitude for the day, gratitude for who we are. Actually, is it okay? Can I put a spell on everybody? What are we up to now? Let's just think about this week. This week's weird for me because I actually worked in Sydney on Sunday. So, hey, this is Tuesday, so let's do this for tomorrow morning. I mean, do these guys sleep in their own bed tonight? Some of them, not if they can help it. Here we go. All right. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, I want you to notice the first 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things you say to start your day in your head. Here we go, spell. So tomorrow morning, woo-ba, woo-ha-ha, woo, boom, spell's done. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, I'm going to pop into your bed, into your head. I'm going to pop into your head. I want you to... And I want you to notice, what are the first 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things you say to start your day. I mean, most people wake up, don't they? They go, stop, stupid Wednesday. Shut up, Wednesday. Shut up, alarm clock. My head hurts. Why do I drink on Tuesday? Man. They get out of bed, they're like, my back is killing me. It's actually not my back, it's my foot. What the hell's wrong with my foot? Weird. They walk past their partner who's still laying in bed and they're like, Jesus. Yeah. I mean, it's not like old guys are getting less gross, right? And you get in the shower and you're thinking about your day, you're thinking about your one-on-one you got with your boss. You're like, whatever, ferret face. Right, there you are. And all this abuse happens, by the way, before you look in the mirror. That's where the real abuse starts. You look in the mirror, you're like, what is that? There's a weird mark. What is that? What is that? That's weird. No! No! You know what? The most important words we say all day. The most important words we say all day are the words we say to ourselves, about ourselves when we're alone by ourselves. The most important words we say all day are the words we say to ourselves, about ourselves when we're alone by ourselves. We are so mean to ourselves, and this thing doesn't help, right? We use this thing wisely, but we got to decide what's useful and what's not. What's useful and what's not. I mean, we get told so much information every day. Every day they change their mind about stuff. Like, what are we supposed to be eating? What are we supposed to be doing? I mean, I was actually in my hotel room watching the Today Show like I told you not to do. And there I was in my hotel room, alone. And there I was. And they had yet another one of these little health and fitness gurus. Yet another one telling me something else again. Right? But they keep changing their mind. How do we keep it straight? Right? And this one, you know what he said? Actually, we're not advocating stretching anymore. I'm like, what? Stretching? That's my thing. What are you talking about? I mean, they change it all the time, don't they? It's like food. It's like what we're supposed to eat, what we can't eat, they change their mind. I mean, do you remember there was a time carbohydrates produced energy, right? Do you remember that? That was actually a thing, right? I think that was scientifically proven. Not now. Carbohydrates are evil, right? Don't eat carbs. Then do you remember we all went on the caveman diet? It was like, just eat steak, protein only. Only steak, that's it. Caveman diet. And I'm like, why? Cavemen lived to be 32. Why? And then we were on the juicer diet. Everyone was at just 700,000 juicers sold in Australia. Everyone's juicing. We're going to juice. You got to juice. This is it. Then all of a sudden we had sugar. Well, that was bad for the juice. Then all of a sudden they were like, Chris, nope, I'm going to get you in ketosis. I'm like, what's that? And they're like, ketones, right? And I'm like, what? Next thing I know, I was putting butter in my goddamn coffee. I don't know. But every day is different. And they keep telling us so many different things about so many different things. And I got to tell you something, I've worked with hundreds of thousands of real estate agents, hundreds of thousands of them. And you know what? I've met some really successful real estate agents. And I met some tall ones that were really successful. And I met some short ones that were really successful. I met some skinny little real estate agents that were really successful. And I met some wider real estate agents that were really successful. I've met them from every kind of color they could possibly be to every gender identification they could possibly be. You know what? There's not one way to do your job. Be authentic. Have a process to follow and follow that process and design a life of excellence for yourself. Ask yourself what's useful and what's not. I had someone tell me recently, they're like, I took the team on an 8-hour time management program. I'm like, what? An 8-hour time management? I'm like, I heard you. What, 8 hours time management? What a waste of time. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you want to start to break down your life. Design your life for excellence. How do you do that? Ask yourself what's useful and what's not. What's income-producing activity every day and what's not. What do you need to get rid of and what are you going to do more of? Right? COVID is a gift which has allowed us to draw a line in the sand today and actually think about what you're going to bring forward, who you're going to bring forward. By the way, toxic people, wow, we don't need toxic people in our life anymore, right? That's so 2019, right? I mean, look, at the end of the day, you don't need toxic people, but that definition of a toxic person is a person who makes you feel worse about yourself after you spend time with them than before you did, right? 2021 is the year to get rid of toxic people. I hope that did not affect your marriage. But as we think about it, what's useful, what's not? Well, I'll tell you what. If any of you guys like this idea of useful belief and want to look at it further and explore it further, there's tons of video. My TEDx talk on useful belief is on the website. The website is chrishelder.com. If you cannot remember that, my name's Chris Helder. Just add .com. Tons of stuff on YouTube, tons of videos out there, lots of books available. If you like to listen, all of it's available on Audible. Audio on Audible. It's 9:28. My timing is just impeccable. It's just remarkable. I know you have to get back to work, but you know what? Truly, as we think about where we are in the world today, it is a world that encourages us to be victims. It is a world that encourages us to celebrate all the trauma of our life. There are 2 time zones you control, now and into the future. And you know those days that you are productive and outstanding and feel good. What made that happen? Useful. Boom. What's useful in your life and what is not useful in your life? What's useful for you to believe in and train your brain to go see? I'm going to leave you today with my favorite quote. My favorite quote is by a woman who I think lived the most useful belief of anyone who ever walked planet Earth. And her name was Helen Keller. And Helen Keller's amazing words as she said this: life is one of 2 things, and I believe this. Life is one of 2 things. It's either a daring adventure or it's absolutely nothing. I challenge you to dial up and go make your life the daring adventure you want it to be. My name's Chris Helder. Thank you so much for inviting me along today, guys. Cheers, thank you. You want to sing?